Welcome back to another episode of Actually I Like My Spouse.
Welcome back.
Hold on. I'm Michael.
And I'm Creatia. And we are the Webleys.
This is episode 6.
This is episode 6, and we believe the foundation to a great marriage is fun, faith, and friendship. So welcome back, and thank y'all for being here on our channel, on our podcast, Spotify, Apple, all the things. Welcome back.
Today's episode, the topic for today's episode is your spouse is not the enemy. But before we get into that, let's talk about this reshoot, this re-recording that is currently taking place.
Yeah, we're actually going to insert a little snippet here. Ding! Right here. It's literally going to hover right here. And what you'll realize is, yeah, there's no volume there. See, you don't hear anything, right?
We were being super proactive, and we said, you know what? This weekend, we're going to do this recording Saturday morning, and we're going to have the episode ready to go Saturday night. Or matter of fact, we said, you know what? We'll do it Sunday morning. First thing Sunday morning, so that we can have the rest of our day to plan and prepare for our week and not be up at 10 o'clock at night with the podcast.
Yeah, so we recorded it, got all dressed and fancy.
Yes. Looking nice and clean.
And we had a really great episode, and we walked away thinking that that's the best episode we've ever made. That was so good.
Best episode ever.
And we were so relieved about it because we were able to get it out. We thought it was great quality. And we just kind of ended the podcast and went to the movies. Because it's like, all right, we're tired. Let's take a break. And we didn't check it because up until this point, the audio we've learned how to set up and build this podcast.
Yes.
So the audio has always been there. And then unfortunately we went to start editing this morning, and there was no audio.
The visuals were
an hour and 20 minutes.
The visuals were great.
The visuals.
The video was there. We was good.
I know. And so that finds us here in this moment. And how are you feeling about it? Re-recording right now.
So right at the moment, if you remember, I had to get up from the table a few times and just walk it off. In the moment, the frustration was immense. I was super emotional and just frustrated with myself because I like to think that, you know, with a lot of this technical stuff, the lights, the camera, that's my job to get those things together. And so I was just like racking my brain. I'm just like, what the hell happened? What could have happened?
Yeah.
And so super frustrated. And then I had to immediately, like in the moment, just switch and just say, hey, look, I've heard on many different podcasts, super successful podcasts, super popular podcasts, where it's just like, this is just the run of the mill. If this hasn't happened to you, then you're probably not supposed to be here, because it's just like, that's almost like, what is it? What do they say? Like, it's a part of the process.
Yeah, it's a part. Oh, you ain't really podcaster until you recorded a whole podcast and it didn't record.
Right.
Or it didn't have any audio. Oh, welcome to the family.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And so if you remember, as we were coming back from like having to leave this, go get some food, I was just telling you, I'm extremely grateful that this happened now, that it happened early. We didn't have any guests on the show. And like we weren't in a position where we had to go back to a studio and re-record or something like that. It's just like we're in our home. And even though this sucks, we can get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciated your approach. I felt like quite immediately after the frustration, you were able to kind of meet me with some rational, logical thinking, right? It's like, it's okay. We got to just record it again.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, it's interesting because I feel like I'm here now. Yesterday I did my makeup, had a whole outfit on, all the things. And today it was like, oh, the best thing that I can give an audience and the people that are the family and the community that we're building is authenticity and vulnerability and transparency. And like in this moment, it's like I'm in a spot in my life where putting makeup on and feeling good about myself is a task. I have a hat on right now because like I'm experiencing something with my hair where it's like shedding and like peeling and my scalp is inflamed and I have like a bald spot at the front of my, like, yeah. And so it took a lot for me to even feel good to even record that episode yesterday. And so now it was like, oh, I got to do that again. And I'm like, no, you get to choose. You can choose to put on a front and get dressed again and make up again, or you can just be honest. And the honest thing is that like, this is hard for me, you know, not the podcast, but going through what I'm experiencing as far as my body going through inflammation. And I don't know, guys, we're going to figure it out. But so sitting here and going through this again, it reminded me of like, how committed are you? Right.
Right.
And I'm reminded that God put this on my heart for us to start this podcast. And this is bigger than Creatia and her inflammation and bald spots and how she feels about her body or her face, her skin breaking out right now is bigger than me. And so when you're able to remove your ego, I had to just put that to the side and say, oh, okay. You thought this was about how you looked. Oh, you thought this was about you. Get out the way and let God move. Right. And so with that, I'm like, all right, this is what I got right now, baby. I'm going to put a hat on, hoodie, but I'm about to show up and we have so much notes and so many good things to share with people that I won't stand in the way of it. And so here we are.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's so beautiful. You showing up in your authenticity. I think that the vulnerability that you share and the transparency, it actually takes me back to a phrase, that same juice spot that we went to that I had to get a refund from, neither here nor there. But in the store, it had a saying on there. And the saying said, love, heal, inspire. Love, heal, inspire. And so I just feel like in this moment, you gave yourself love. By giving yourself love, you're giving our audience some love. This episode, I believe, is going to be a healing process for us both, more particularly for you as well. And then just showing up, being able to push through, commit. Right? We've had intentions on, hey, we're doing a certain amount of episodes. This didn't work out. Now what? And so
still, an episode still got to go up tomorrow.
An episode still got to go up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So this is inspiring right now. The act of you showing up as you are, as beautiful as you are right now, inflamed and all. This is a beautiful statement.
Thank you.
That I hope not only touches your heart, but touches everyone that's listening and watching today.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And it made me, and I know we need to get to the topic, but I feel like this could be beneficial. It just made me think about, how do we navigate when our partner is going through something that isn't necessarily tied to the marriage or the relationship. Right? Yeah. So like what I'm going through right now with my body, maybe there's parts of our lives that are imposed by the both of us that is causing some stress. But outside of that, like the hormonal imbalances and things of that nature, how do you navigate that, as a husband, and give support when your partner is depressed or your partner is experiencing anxiety or grief or loss?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with you, but they're going through it.
I mean, the fact that I know there's times that you might be going through something, and I know my thing is always going to solution. And sometimes me just asking you, and we'll go through some of this today, but like asking you, what do you need right now? It could be something that's helpful, but sometimes I know.
What have you done though over the 12 years, right? Because that's a new technique.
Yeah.
But like think about like how have you been able to show up? And I can speak to some of the things.
My first thought is just being an ear, being a shoulder to cry on, but also just being an ear to listen to. Because a lot of times you have a lot of things that's going on in your head, a lot of conversations in your head.
Yes.
And you need to get those out. So I know if you're not journaling, even if you are journaling, you need to speak to somebody, and that somebody is me usually.
Yeah.
And get a lot of that stuff that's in your head out of your head.
And kind of holding space.
Correct.
And I also feel like sometimes we know better than others what our spouse needs, as far as like, let's get out the house and like,
yes,
go get some ice cream for real. Let's go for a walk. Let's like go for, like, y'all know what that is for your partner.
So before we got into this, I said, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get out the house. Let's get out of here.
Exactly.
Let's take a beat.
Yeah.
Let's calm our nervous systems down. Yes. Let's breathe. Let's exhale. And then come back to it.
Yeah.
And now we're back.
Better than ever, baby.
So back again with the topic.
Yeah.
Today's topic is your spouse is not the enemy. And we have some questions that we're going through. I have on here 5 questions that we're going through. The first one being why we sometimes feel like the other person is the enemy. What makes us go from we to I? What does it feel like when I make you out to be the enemy? What we lose when we make each other the villain. And then number 5, how do we shift out of that mindset when we're in it? Mm-hmm. And so those are the questions that we'll go through. But today I'm actually stealing your segment. So I'll be quick because we were a little bit long-winded, but a little about a lot.
Yeah, a little bit about a lot. We just gave a lot.
We just gave a lot.
A lot.
But I feel like this is still good timing.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So a little
bit about a lot with Big Daddy Mike. And I kept that PG, so y'all be thankful. Big Daddy Mike.
I appreciate the intro. Thank you. So a little about a lot today. It actually comes from a documentary that we watched this past week. If you haven't watched it as yet, check it out. It is Seen and Heard: The History of Black Television. Issa Rae's production company, Hooray, is the creators behind it.
It's on HBO.
It is on HBO. The directors of it was Giselle Bailey and Phil. I think yesterday we said Phil B.
Phil B.
Couldn't pronounce his last name. Phil B. Was the director. And as an aspiring TV and film creator, I thought that this documentary was incredible.
Yeah.
And super nostalgic because it hits some nerves on just showing literally for me, the history of what I was watching up until basically high school.
On TV.
On TV. And what I mean by that, your Martins, your Jamie Foxx, your girlfriends,
you weren't watching Jamie Foxx, but I'm going to let you have that. Go ahead.
We're going to get there on the Jamie Foxx. But the cool part about this whole documentary, or not so cool, the enlightening part was, I always tell you, like, yes, I used to watch Friends when I was in like middle school and high school.
And Seinfeld.
And
the white folk shows.
I transitioned from Friends to Seinfeld, and then it went, but the reason why it was Seinfeld and Friends, there was a gap in the TV world where it was just like, no, I grew up watching Martin like everybody on the block. Hey, you got to run home to get Martin at 8:00 because there is no reruns, no streaming. And so that's kind of like the era I grew up on. Family Matters, TGIF, that type of stuff. And so if you go through the years, when I got to about high school, it was to a point where a lot of those shows disappeared. And the enlightenment here was like a lot of these networks started with these black programs, these black TV shows, and they were able to build up their audience, get all the eyeballs.
And it was intentional.
Very intentional because they got all the advertising dollars.
Yes.
And then as soon as they said, okay, cool, we built it up enough now. Okay, we're moving on from this.
Yeah, we're moving on from the blacks and back to transitioning to
predominantly white TV
shows.
shows.
Yeah.
And so for me growing up, again, in that kind of high school and the middle school kind of time, there wasn't anything that was prominently like taking over that a lot of black people can say, oh, this is my show.
And you didn't necessarily know at that time that this was a deliberate thing that networks were doing.
Right.
Which was removing these shows, right?
Yes. And so it was super inspiring to see Tyler Perry on there, to see Shonda Rhimes, and just to see get an understanding of their journey. And the stuff that I watch and was inspired by, they're talking about the same things.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about Oprah in Amarillo, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all were running home to go watch Oprah.
Yeah.
Shonda Rhimes said, seeing Oprah on TV be her authentic self, that inspired me. Like, this is something that I can do. This is something I can be. I can show up in the world as I am.
Yeah. And also being like a small town girl from Amarillo, it was exposure. So Oprah was talking about different things on the Oprah show that like I wasn't seeing in my small town or even being exposed to. So I enjoyed watching it with my mom because not only was it entertaining, but I felt like I learned something, you know?
Yeah.
So shout out to her and thankful for her just being a consistent black woman face and an influence on not only my life, but clearly a lot of women's lives, right?
And that's why I said I think that this is a little bit about a lot, because if you haven't watched it, you should go watch it, support it. And again, it was just super inspiring for me to see this week.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Hey. There you have it. A little bit about a lot with Big Daddy Mike.
Okay. Thank you, honey. Moving right along.
Thank you. That's my name. You know what it is.
Question number 1. Okay.
Delirious.
Yeah, very much so.
Mm-hmm. So let's get into it.
You can start us off.
Why do you think when a disagreement occurs, we sometimes feel like the other person is the enemy?
What do you got for me?
And my answer was our brain processes fights and arguments the same as a physical threat, right? So when we're experiencing a physical threat, you're in the woods, you decide to go glamping with your girlfriends and a bear approaches. This
is a very interesting story. But keep going.
In your body, there is a response that automatically clicks.
Okay.
And it is literally a chemical response, most commonly referred to as fight or flight, right?
Yes.
And so when your nervous system is in fight or flight, it doesn't know the difference between a robbery or a bear in the woods and a disagreement with your partner. It doesn't know the difference. So when we're disagreeing and when we're having any kind of confrontation, my brain says, oh, this is a threat. So my adrenaline starts to rise, right? My heart rate increases.
Yes.
And your prefrontal cortex, which is your reasoning and thinking center, goes offline. So all logic leaves your brain.
Yes.
And you step into, I got to protect myself by any means necessary. Hence, putting your partner, your spouse, into the enemy role, into the villain role.
Logic is out the window.
Logic is out the window. So instead of let me listen and understand to what he or she is trying to say, you shift to let me defend myself, let me attack them, or let me retreat altogether because I need to get away from here because this is a threat.
But not every disagreement. I know you said every time. Not every disagreement becomes this, a bear is attacking me. That sounds like a very stressful relationship.
That is a stressful. If every argument,
every disagreement. Rawr.
If it feels like a bear is attacking, that's true. Okay, so yes, this happens every time.
Yes.
But over time, we train our brain to know the difference between a verbal disagreement and an actual attack. So your body still responds the same way, but it's not an elevated situation.
Okay,
right?
I got you.
So it's like,
depending on that trigger, though, depending on what the disagreement is,
how high the threat is,
how high the threat is, and then circumstance. Outside circumstances that can, to your point, elevate the tension.
Yes.
Elevate the
adrenaline.
All the above. Okay.
All of these responses, right? So this is why even the smallest tone shift from your partner can feel like a personal attack because it's not logic. You're not thinking with logic anymore.
Yeah.
Right? When you say, why you always do that all the time? I can hear something completely different because logic has left and I'm only hearing attack. Right?
Okay.
So I'm saying it's a chemical response. Why we sometimes feel like the other person is the enemy.
Okay.
What did you have?
I mean, something similar. I mean, I know that we did our notes differently, but it seems like we landed on the same thing. So you went with emotion, and I just kind of gave more description of it. So I put, and I think I went a little bit personal, as I said before. Okay. Yes. So for me, the first one is,
this is where the story came.
Well, yes, I feel as though this happens because, for us specifically, I feel like you feel like you're always right. So that's number one. Number two,
and I am.
Neither here nor there. Number two, when I feel defensive, my walls automatically go up. So my walls go up, and then sometimes I do this isolation. I go into a cave, and whether, depending on the situation, it's like I need to try to figure this thing out for us.
So you retreat.
So I retreat, and I say, hey, I don't need you right now. I need to figure this out on my own and figure out what this is going to do, because you are the enemy. Yeah. You are not here to help me. You're hindering my thought process right now.
Wow.
So the walls is going up.
I can see that.
Defense mode.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I said was, a lot of times when I feel as though that you are the enemy, it's because of a situation that we were in, and I made a mistake, and I'm beating myself up for that mistake. And then you are just highlighting the mistake that I made, maybe even confronting me about or holding me accountable for that mistake. And I'm already beating myself up. And now I feel as though you may not be even beating me up. You might just be giving me like some feedback that I can use and learn from.
Because it's at the front of your mind, right? Because it's something you're already holding your foot to the flame to already. It feels like I'm just throwing you completely in the fire if I even mention it. It
feels like a personal attack as opposed to...
So now I'm the enemy.
Right. Because it's like, I think there's a time and a place for a conversation about growth.
Yeah.
Depending on how soon that was. I don't know if I'm open for that conversation. And now I feel like I'm being personally attacked.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, what's going on here?
I've had experience with that. I think even in the workplace, this is a side note, but even in the workplace, there's been like conversations or things happening, and depending how you're personally feeling, you can feel like something is a personal attack, and any other day maybe you wouldn't even felt that way, but on that day, because you already feel like these people in the office are the enemy, they don't like me, all these things, everything that they're saying and doing feels like they're attacking you.
And so I think, I have a story for this, but I don't know if you want. I don't know if you
I didn't have a story, but just one more point there.
Go ahead.
Your spouse may unintentionally echo something that a past true enemy actually did.
Yes.
Or said.
I remember that from yesterday's podcast.
Yes, exactly. So
good.
In this, I was saying like there may have been like a high school bully or someone in college that like was a true enemy of yours and maybe said certain things to you. A hater, player hater. And your spouse ends up saying that same thing.
Yes.
And so you automatically put them in the seat of the enemy because of past trauma and past wounds.
And they don't even know it.
That's
tough. That's a tough one.
And in that scenario, I feel like it's important for you to communicate like, hey, this is what has happened to me before.
Yeah.
And by you saying that, I feel triggered.
But again, going back to the bear, if it's a bear, you ain't about to have that calm conversation with the bear. It's fight or flight. So
you're right.
That's a good way to to address it. But again, we're talking about the chemicals here. And so the story that I had here, all I had was as my story title, credit card cancellation. And so to give some context to it, when I was doing my research, I was getting a lot of feedback or finding a lot of things that talked about like spouses going on trips and the other spouse have to take care of the house or take care of the kids while the spouse is having fun, and then that spouse becomes the enemy. I don't necessarily know if that was the case here, but about 2-3 years ago, I was going on a guy's trip to Dallas, and before we were going on that trip, I had a credit card that I was just racking up points.
It was hot.
The credit card was hot.
It was burning a hole in your pocket.
It was
quite
hot.
Literally.
It was hot. And the problem with it was, as I was racking up points, I wouldn't always remember to pay back the card either the same day or the same week. And so we were getting into a place where it's like, hey, what's happening with this card?
Yeah, what's happening is, and you always say like, I'm gonna put the money back.
I'm gonna put the money back.
I'm about to do, yeah.
Right. And so before this trip, what ended up happening was we had a conversation. She wasn't gonna be able to make the trip. Okay, this is a guy's trip now. Oh, yes. Hey, honey, remember that card? Reel it in. Baby, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm all the way good. And we were just supposed to have a barbecue. The barbecue turned into let's go out. And not even just let's go out. Let's go out and get a section. And in that moment, I said, man, points. I'm going to get me some points. I'm going to put the section on the credit card.
I'm going to put listen to those words. I'm going to put the section on the credit card.
And I had the money in the account. The guy said they were going to pay me back. It's midnight, way too late for me to text or call my wife.
Wow.
By the time she wakes up, the money's going to be back on the card. No problem. Well,
y'all know I'm an early bird.
6:00 in the morning. I'm still asleep. Evidently somebody's calling and texting.
Yeah, I was calling and texting like, because at that time I had the alerts on.
Yes.
Because the block was hot on that card.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I needed to know if I need to spin the block or not.
Oh my goodness.
So I had the alerts on, not for that trip, but just in general. I just always had it on when we first got that card.
Yeah.
And so it alerted me while I was sleeping. But then when I got up, is the first thing I saw.
Yeah, it alerted you.
And I was like, just a notification.
That sounds much better.
Yeah, a notification. And I was like, we explicitly talked about this, and he told me he wasn't going to do that. And so I was livid.
I didn't tell you I wasn't going to get a section. I just told you I was going to reel it in.
You said I wasn't going to you weren't going to use the card.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So
I was livid.
Very livid, and proceeded to call.
He was public enemy number one at that point against our finances.
Proceeded to call. Didn't pick up for at least an hour because I was not drunk, but at least sleeping until 8, sleeping in.
You should have been drunk with the section fee.
And then by the time we had the conversation, you were irate. You didn't even tell me that you canceled the credit card.
Oh.
You just had a conversation with me. And the next thing I know,
when you tried to spin the block and get hot again.
No, it wasn't even that. It was, what's going on? What you do? And I was like, oh yeah, no worries, babe. They're about to pay me back. And you were just like, but we had this conversation. I was like, yeah, don't worry. They're paying me back. And then by the time I go to pay it back, I look at the card and the card was canceled. And I said, you know what?
Yeah, not even frozen, guys. I went straight to the cancellation.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, he thought this was a game. And see, this is what happens when you put your spouse as an enemy and the villain, because it's like, now I got to win this game.
Exactly.
I'm not going to let the enemy beat me. Right. And so it was like, let's see how that work out for him when it's canceled.
And so that was your logic.
I know that wasn't logic left. Remember
logic
left.
Listen,
I just told you logic is in the room when this is happening.
I'm the one that said it in my head, but I wanted you to say it. That's good.
Yeah, logic left.
So there was no logic.
And I was thinking with emotion. And in hindsight, I wouldn't do that again if we were in that position.
Amen. Hallelujah. That's some growth.
But
in the moment,
I felt like, yeah, this is something we talked about, we discussed.
Yeah.
And
I was an enemy against you and our finances.
Yes.
Interesting.
So question number 2, what makes us go from we to I, and why do we forget we're on the same team? You can kick us off.
So what makes us go from we to I? You went to the chemical imbalance, and ironically enough, I found the same information. And so what I found, to summarize it, or the term, is called emotional hijacking. So everything that you just expressed in terms of the prefrontal cortex is being weakened, the connection between like the rational, logical and emotional side of the brain, that's gone. That is called emotional hijack. So you're 100% right. But in this instance, what I think is what makes us go from we to I believe, is what happened earlier today in the whole podcast debacle. I believe the real enemy is the devil.
Yes.
And so Scripture says, and I have it here, but I bought the Bible.
Ain't nothing like a physical Bible.
Ain't
y'all.
nothing like a physical Bible.
How many people out there with a physical Bible?
Come on now. I bought the physical Bible just so I can give you the weight of
And this man
the
writing
experience.
in pen in his Bible, and I never.
I highlight in pen. If you're not scribbling into the book that you
Are
own,
you even reading it?
are you?
Yeah.
So in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, it says, "Stay alert, watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour." So even in the story that we just spoke about, right?
Yeah.
You made me out to be the enemy.
Yes.
But if you thought about it in the essence of, we're a team.
We are.
This person, my spouse, who loves me 99.9% of the day.
Exactly. And wants the best for me.
And wants the best for me. Impossible that he is this bear that's trying to kill me.
Yeah. And logically, you would think that, right?
So that's why I'm saying in the moments where there's some heated disagreements, you have to know that the devil is on the prowl and he is ready to fester inside your mind to separate. Because from the time that Adam and Eve was in the garden, it was like, how can I separate this?
Wow.
God wanted this to come together. I need to make sure that this doesn't work.
So you're really identifying the real enemy.
In this scenario, again, what makes us go from we to I, yes, I think it's the chemical side.
And why do we forget we're on the same team?
I think the devil is always looking for a gap to say, okay, where can I squeeze in and wedge this separation? Because if it happens often enough, it's like, okay, perfect. Yes, I got them at odds with each other. You remember this the last time, Creatia, when he said he was going to get the card together.
Yeah.
Now it's like he's always just trying to chip away at the relationship.
You know what is a real present example is the podcast.
Like I said.
So having filmed the podcast.
Yes.
Right. And instead, when we realized there was no audio on it, instead of attacking one another and making one another the enemy, what didn't you do? Did you plug it up right? Did you da-da-da-da? I think it was so beautiful that God allowed us to lean in on this topic yesterday, just with ourselves, unknowingly, and to be able to navigate the upset and the friction, possible friction that could have existed if we allowed the devil to come in and say, see, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. See, she didn't do what she was supposed to do, which could have drove us apart and we not be here re-recording as a team, locked in again, right? And understanding that we're not the enemy. Mm-hmm. We've identified the enemy. Oh, the devil, he muted that audio. Oh, he thinks he's going to win. Nah, we coming together as a team and we're about to re-record this.
Amen. If we understand we are a team, that means we are in some type of competition.
Yep.
And the competition isn't against each other. Mm-hmm. Okay, who's our enemy here?
Yep.
Who's the enemy? Who's the coach?
Yes.
Oh, God. God is our coach. Oh, God, what are we supposed to do in this scenario? Oh, we're supposed to come closer together and come back to you. Okay, cool. And identify who this is. We know who it is. And let's act accordingly.
I like that part. Whenever you identify the enemy, leaning on God to strengthen your team, coming closer together to mount up not on our own strength, but on his strength.
His strength and understanding.
To then overcome the enemy, the true enemy, right?
Can I get a hallelujah?
Amen. Amen. If I had a hallelujah button, I would push it.
Amen.
So what I have for why do we forget we're on the same team?
Yes.
A lot of times we're leading with ego. So when the ego gets triggered, it sees the marriage as a battleground and not a bond. So you start to say things to yourself like, if I give in, then I lose. If they're right, that must mean I'm wrong.
Okay.
I can't apologize first to this man. That shows my weakness. So you stop trying to understand your spouse and you start trying to outsmart them. Because now that I've placed you in the seat of the enemy, we're now in a game of chess, right? And now I'm trying to figure out the best chess move so I can ultimately win the game. So you keep receipts of things. You start to weaponize logic and you listen only to refute what they're saying, right? Mm-hmm. So when we lead with our ego, there can be a lot of individuality that kind of gets birthed from that.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is there's so much individuality in modern marriages that we are so focused on us that anything our spouses says outside of agreeing with us feels like an attack on our ego, an attack on our agency, our rights, or even our freedom. So we start to say things like, I deserve better. I work harder than he does. I've been doing everything. I do so much more than they do. Or I'm not getting what I need.
This is so good. This is so good because I know we were going to have a podcast episode about individualism in marriages and how individualism is a good thing.
Yes.
Right. Especially when it's, bringing your spouse into that individualism
and helping them to grow and expand.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, in this particular case, we're talking about like it feels like some core values. And I think when you have core values as a couple, and that is the foundation of, as well as faith and friendship, then when you get into disagreements, you don't bring in this additional baggage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's fogging a lot of your rationale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's one thing to have communication about like, hey, we're coming together in this house and there's some, I believe we said this in a previous episode, there's some invisible labor that I'm doing right now.
Yes, and you don't see it.
And you don't understand it, right? I don't want to have a checklist here, but these are the things that I do to keep the house up.
Yeah.
These are some things that I do to keep our lives together. Can we divide and conquer here? How can we go about these things? Because now a lot of the things that you just talked about, I think those are real feelings.
Yeah. I deserve better. I work harder. I've been doing more. I'm not getting what I need. What about me?
And so that sounds like somebody that's in a relationship that's suffering.
Yes.
Right? They're suffering in silence.
Yes.
And so now in their head, it's just like, look at this. Would you look at this?
Would you look at this? Look at him over there.
Look at this. Didn't take the trash out and over here just snacking on all the food.
Exactly.
In the cupboard. It's like, wait a minute.
And over here tugging on my dress thinking he about to get some.
See what I'm saying?
What?
See what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So in that world, right? What happens now for a husband and wife in real time? What should happen in order for that to go out of the window and they have a reset? What do you think? Because in that scenario that you just said, I can see a wife that has the husband tugging on her dress or tugging on her pants. It's just like, you are public enemy number one.
Yeah.
You are my op.
It's like, don't try to be on my team now. You wasn't on my team earlier when I had all these dishes to do and all these groceries to put up, and you wasn't on my team earlier when I was over there crying and you wasn't even thinking about me at all. And now you want to be on the same team?
So that's my point.
Yeah. That
stuff is festering and building up inside of someone.
Yeah.
Without the partner knowing.
That's so true.
So how do they repair that?
So you want to skip to that one?
I'm not skipping.
We got some tools in here.
I'm just give me just a quick little situation on that one.
So I think in that situation, I think communication is key.
Right.
Right. So being able to pull out and really communicate what it is that you're experiencing. So, and I think it's always important to remember not to be accusatory and to own what you're feeling. So instead of saying,
yeah, tell me more about that one.
Instead of saying, you didn't help me today with the house things that we had to do for the house. You didn't help me today. You never helped me. Right. Instead of saying that, you can say, I'm feeling overwhelmed by all of the things I had to handle today in the house.
Okay.
I would love to share some of those things with you to help you understand what I had to do today.
That's good. That's really good.
Right? So then you don't think I'm about to attack you at all. You just like, oh, okay, yeah, you felt overwhelmed with.
That sounds like a lot of stuff you did.
Yes, and then it opens you up to be able to say, oh, like hopefully you're in a relationship where your spouse would say, oh, how can I help you with that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not accusing you. I'm not making you the enemy. You never do this. You did it. It's like, oh no, this is how this is affecting me.
Right.
And I want to communicate that to you because I don't want you to feel like I'm rejecting you in your attempt right now.
Yeah.
I just want you to understand why I'm feeling overwhelmed.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I feel like it's so good, and I'm hoping, some husbands and some wives are listening to this right now, because I think as a husband that goes out and works all day And a wife that might be either home working, taking care of the kids, or actually home working on the computer, but also getting the stuff together for the house.
Yeah.
That's going to be some miscommunication that's happening. Right. And there's a lack of awareness.
There's a lack of awareness.
And so,
and your approach is so important.
I was just about to say, it's sometimes not what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly.
And it's just, I feel like that language that you gave just now, I think it opens the conversation up where that husband can say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. I'm not feeling personally attacked.
Yeah.
Because now he's not, wait a minute, I just went out and did all this stuff and now you want me to do more, or I didn't do enough.
Yes.
He could feel that way.
Exactly.
I didn't do enough right there.
Right. And she is allowing him to have the space to make a different decision and maybe help out in something.
Yeah.
But also, again, just remember, not from an accusatory standpoint.
100%.
Right? Okay.
That's good.
So question number 3, what does it feel like when I make you out to be the enemy?
What I have here is I feel disrespected. I feel attacked. I feel disregarded. Yeah. And so when those things happen, it's like this, I don't know, other way to put it. Stonewalling. Cause I was going to say this cave mentality, going into my office or kind of isolating myself.
Yeah, that could work for it too.
But stonewalling is the terminology, right?
And what is stonewalling?
I mean, what I would say is just going into isolation. Right?
Yeah.
Having walls up, not communicating, and sometimes being passive aggressive.
Exactly.
And not sometimes, but I would say the silent treatment is the passive aggressiveness. And what I sometimes feel is like, well, I know right now I'm in an emotional state, and I need a beat.
Yeah.
I think that's healthy. But stonewalling is, okay, I'm feeling emotional right now. I need a beat to figure this out, but I'm also ignoring you.
Yeah. So
for a considerable amount of time.
Exactly. Stonewalling has no intentions of resolution.
There you go.
So stonewalling is I'm building a wall, I'm pushing you out, and I'm not coming around that wall either. You're going to have to build and break this thing down because I've stonewalled you out.
And so I think that the stonewalling is a result of feeling like it's a personal attack and feeling disregarded or feeling disrespected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I had resentful. So whenever it feels like you're treating me like the enemy, I feel resentful of like, how could you treat me that way? Like I'm your wife, right? And then resentment builds. And then it starts to feel like you only see what I do wrong. Ooh. You don't ever see the things that I do right. And lonely, right? So we're not on the same team. Therefore, I feel lonely. I feel like I'm dealing with this on my own. I feel like I'm having to move through the world without my spouse. And like, what are we even married for if I can't lean all the way into you? Right? So lonely and then defensive. So feeling like I need to protect myself.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a thing too. And
excuse me.
So there was a story that I had here too that I shared yesterday that I'll very quickly share in the sake of time. But we moved to DC about 9 years ago, maybe. And in that season, we were living in San Marcos, Austin area. And I was doing an organization called the Wannabes with one of my good girlfriends, Macy. And we were having momentum. We had some success here in Austin.
Yeah.
I was invited to speak on different stages, and we were hosting workshops and going into middle schools and high schools and helping teen girls kind of navigate becoming who they wanted to be.
You got invited to speak at South by Southwest.
Yeah, South by and all that. And so there was a momentum building. But in your world, there wasn't necessarily a momentum building in your career. You were actually kind of transitioning out of pharmaceutical sales at that time.
Yes.
And you wanted to transition into TV and film. And our sister, my sister-in-law, Angie had just bought a home, and it was just her and her son at the time. And she had a big house, and she was loving enough and gracious enough and kind of offered up her home for us to come and stay there and kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And so you wanted to do that. And it didn't.
Not married yet, not engaged.
We weren't married yet.
No.
We weren't engaged. And I was just this committed girlfriend, 3 years in at that point. And so you were
ready to pack us up, and you were saying, you know what? I'm going to drop this. I'm going to drop this right now and come help you follow your dream and go out there with you.
Yes.
Move away from my family, move away from Texas.
Yes.
That I've never been out of.
Yeah. I've been out of Texas. Don't play me.
In terms of living at that time.
No, never lived outside of Texas.
At that moment, you didn't live outside of Texas before. And you took the leap with me.
Yeah. And I took the leap and I gave up my organization that I was building. That was really a passion project that I really loved. And so we moved, and it wasn't the best decision, turns out to be, right? Not that our living situation was bad or anything like that. It had nothing to do with that. It's just that
if you want to get into TV and film, you do not move to DC.
And Frederick, where did we live?
We lived in Maryland. You don't move. You don't get into TV and film by being in Maryland.
But his thought process was like, oh, I'm closer to New York. So the resentment started to build, and so there was a lot of grief around this decision and this move for me. And it was easy to be angry with you and blame you. And I kind of put you in the seat of the enemy, because it's like, you moved us out here. You wanted us to come do this. We did this for you. And now I'm here. I'm depressed. The sun is going down at 2:15 p.m. It's dark as hell out here. I don't like it. I don't got any family, any friends.
Yeah.
And you're the reason we're here.
And that happened. And, ironically enough, I didn't feel it immediately. I felt it in spurts throughout the time there.
Yeah. And I don't think I was as vocal.
Yes.
I kind of kept a lot of the kind of depression and stuff to myself, but kind of just isolated myself, because then eventually you did go to New York and I stayed back, but I was isolating myself in the room.
Yeah.
And so here in my notes, I have Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 6. You have your Bible there?
I do.
Can you read that for us?
Proverbs? Dang, not me having on the fly.
Yeah, it's okay. That's what you got it there for. So Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 6.
Okay. Because I was going to do my usual just kind of.
I know.
And I said, not on camera.
I need to learn to order the books up. Don't do that in front of the people.
I don't need the people to, see me flicking through right here. But even so, I looked at it and I said, Proverbs starts at 788.
Yeah. So okay. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6.
Chapter 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Chapter 3. Yep. Verse 5 through 6? Okay. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. So understanding that this wasn't about trusting Michael and his vision for us at that moment. This is about trusting God. And even though I couldn't understand, I had to lean into God's understanding of why we were there. Right. And so what I have in my notes here is it was a blatant reminder that I needed to trust in the Lord, both for how God was leading us and for how God was leading you. And I needed to stop leaning on my own understanding, my sadness and my disappointment, my depression, and choose to acknowledge the Lord and how he was directing our path through you. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Because eventually we made our way back to Austin.
Yes. And it was in the perfect timing, the perfect season. There was a tech boom and we were able to kind of land in that. Yeah. And so it worked out.
It did. It did. But it was a time.
A time was had,
Lord. A time was had,
or the lack of a time was had. Okay. We did what we need to do.
But we got to learn from it.
Yeah.
I think that's
we definitely got to learn. And I like DC. Shout out to DC. It's a beautiful city.
The biggest blessing there.
So let's shift to number 5.
Okay.
So how do you shift out of the making your spouse the enemy mindset when you're in the middle of it, in the midst of it? What can you say or do during these disagreements where you're treating your spouse as the enemy to remind your spouse that y'all are on the same team?
I guess for me, I guess I'm the pastor today because
Amen.
I'm bringing a lot of the church, the Bible.
Nothing wrong with that. You are the steward and the pastor over this household.
Amen. So the phrase that I came up with here was, we are being attacked. The devil is present and we cannot let him win. We are a team. Let's come up with a plan so we can win against this attack.
Yes. I would call that name the pattern, not the person.
Name the pattern, not the person. And the person or the thing is the devil.
Yes.
And so I think that I can't remember what Bible verse says it, but it says two is better than one. And so when I think about that, I think about us being back to back and just facing, demon, the devil.
It's a circle. We circle
all the different things,
yes.
right? And so just being able to identify that it's not you, it's not me, right? And what I have here is that is a saying. And then the next thing I have here in my notes is remember who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Like your wife, your husband, they are your greatest ally and they're your partner.
Yes.
You have to remember that especially when it's the heat of the moment.
Yes.
And God hasn't blessed us with kids as yet, but I'm just, even when you're in a heated moment, I think about when you're with your kids, no matter how heated you are with your spouse, you just have to remember, like, this is your greatest gift.
Yeah.
And like treat them as so.
Exactly.
And words matter.
Can you repeat what the phrase was because I feel like we need to share, because my first way of kind of overcoming this is pause and time out without abandonment. Ask for a timeout without abandonment, right? So instead of powering through the fight or the argument, ask for a simple reset.
Okay.
And maybe you establish a phrase that you say.
Okay. And so you want me to re-say the phrase?
Yeah.
Okay. The phrase that I came up with for identifying the enemy and being able to shift out of this mindset is, we are being attacked. The devil is present and we cannot let him win. We are a team. Let's come up with a plan so we can win against this attack.
And a fair response to that could be, I need 10 minutes to cool down before we do that. Yes. I'm not walking away from us. We're going to come back and resolve this, but can I have a 10-minute pause?
Okay.
Right?
I love that.
So my technique here is just saying, like, in the midst of you feel things welling up and you feel like your spouse is the enemy and there's no way out and y'all are on different teams, being able to pull out and say, hey, can we take a beat?
Yeah.
And let's come back and whatever time, set a time. So both your spouses walk away feeling secure. Like, I don't walk away like, oh my gosh, he's leaving this conversation.
Yes,
and like you give me security and giving me your word and saying, I'm gonna be back in 20 minutes. Can you just give me 20 minutes?
That's good.
Right. That's
good, because I think about myself in the past and I do the first part, but I don't do the second part.
Yes, that's the key.
The second part is 20, 30 hour.
Yes.
But
and we're going to come back at this time and we'll continue this discussion.
And when I think about that right now is because I'm so in my feelings that I'm not trying to come back at a certain time.
Yes. But it takes a certain emotional EQ and also faith in the Lord, right? But also a stewardship of your spouse.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, it's not fair for me to leave them hanging in the midst of this and confusion.
Yeah.
But it is fair for me to ask for a second. So let me do that and then also tell them when I'll come back.
Yeah.
So that, and then I have the second thing, name the pattern and not the person. So replace you always or you never with, I notice we keep getting stuck in this loop. This takes the blame off of your spouse and places it on the cycle or the thing, i.e. the devil, versus it being about them. You never, you don't do this. Oh, nope, the devil is attacking us.
Let's take a beat.
And
I remember now when you said this, I was talking about the the viral clip of Sir's brother.
Oh
D-Smoke,
yeah.
and you were
Cause I ain't about to roll it if I ain't rolling that fire.
You not rolling nothing. Okay.
I definitely ain't rolling nothing ever. So don't ever try to pass me. Roll. I ain't the one. Absolutely not.
But I'm saying the viral.
He had a clip.
The clip, and I gotta show it to you today. Okay. But the clip that he was on the podcast talking about was, him and his wife goes to therapy, and they were talking about, like, he was saying, like, don't put us on a pedestal. We're doing the work. It's an active process, and the therapy, identifying the situation or the cycle that they're in, and the therapist taught them, like, when you're in a relationship, you're always going to be in a cycle. You're going to have this connection. It's going to be connection. It's going to be conflict, and it's going to be repair. You're always going to be in one of those phases of the cycle. And his big thing was, like, once we identified, like, what the problem was, it made us, like, exhale and feel so much better, and just like, oh, we're in a repair cycle right now. Okay, cool. What do we need to do?
Yeah, now we can identify it, and now we've made it as something outside of ourselves.
Exactly.
Right? This is not you always. This is not I always. But this makes sense. We're having conflict right now. We're in the conflict phase.
Yes.
How do we get to repair?
How do we get to connection? But to your point, yeah, you can't just skip.
Yeah, you want to repair it so that you can get back to the connection, right?
100%.
I think that's beautiful, and I think that's a great tool to be able to pull out and name. Yeah. Right. Okay. So then I also have switch from winning to understanding. So ask a simple question, and this comes from one of our dear friends. Can you help me understand what you need right now? Oh,
yes. Shantavia in New York, we had this conversation.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, like, a tizzy that we had while we were in New York.
Yes, while we were in New York. And it felt, we were both kind of like, okay, like, what was that?
We got past it.
Yeah, we got past
it really quickly.
Yeah.
But we were still, like you said, questioning it. And she was able to kind of illuminate the situation.
Yeah, so she kind of heard our stories, right? He told his side, I told my side. And being a woman of wisdom and who have experienced things in her life, we were just asking for advice. Like, what do you think about this?
Exactly.
And she was like, well, I think that what could have been helpful for both of you, or even for you, Mike, she said for you, Mike, to ask, hey, like, can you help me understand what you actually need right now?
Yes. And do you need love or do you need logic?
Do you need love? Do you need logic? Do you need...
It was one more.
I know, and I got it yesterday. Space.
Podcast. Space.
Love, logic, or space?
That was good.
Do you need love? Can I love up on you? Do you need me to touch you and hold you? Not in a sexual way, but like touch you and hold you. Do you need space? Back to what we were just talking about earlier. Do you need 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But being able to pull out, stop identifying your spouse as the enemy, and to say, like, think about being so infuriated and frustrated with me, and being able to say, can you help me understand what you need?
Yeah.
Like, for me, to hear that would just feel like, oh, he's not even making this about him. His concern still lies with me. So
I love the way that you phrase that. Another thing I remember that I have in my notes, can't remember where it's at right now, but can you help me understand where you're coming from?
Oh, yes. Clarifying.
Can you help me understand what I'm not seeing?
Yeah.
Because this is how I see it. Can you help me understand better how you're seeing it right now?
Sometimes you're in the midst of an argument and y'all are going in circles.
Yeah.
Because someone isn't communicating something well.
It's not
clicking.
It's not effective communication because I just said this to you, so I'm not saying something right. Maybe I can say it a different way, right? But another powerful thing that you said yesterday, let me get your hand. Touch.
Yes.
Touch is a powerful tool.
Exactly.
Not sexual. Right.
And it's completely deflating in the sense of, or it's like de-escalating, not deflating. It's de-escalating.
Yeah.
Because imagine we're in an argument and I just come and I'm like,
hey,
Yeah.
Everything's all right.
And also, we're on the same team.
We're on the same team.
And the devil is here right now. He's trying to step in and sabotage our podcast. Okay. And we're here, though.
We're here.
It feels really like a moment of presence to be able to lean in with touch and like just know that we're here. Like, we're here. What everything else that we're thinking about and what we're saying, and even this argument, we're here in this present moment. Like, do you feel me?
Listen, I feel you right now.
Yeah.
I feel you right now. And so reframing is a big thing, right? And by no means are we saying that conflict is going to be avoided by these tools, by what we're saying. All we're really saying is that
your spouse is not the enemy.
Your spouse is not the enemy. There's ways that you can get out of that conflict quicker, right? At the end of the day, I believe that we have all come together so that we can elevate each other in our spiritual, emotional, physical, in that sense. So it's just like, let's acknowledge what's happening. And let's try to get some tools and figure out how we can get out of this situation while we're both winning.
And let's remember we're in here together.
Yes.
Like on the hard days, on the good days, but especially on the hard days, if you cannot lean on your spouse, then what are we doing? Why are we even doing this, right?
Yeah.
Because Michael doesn't serve a purpose for me only because he's there when days are hard.
Yeah.
But he does serve a purpose for when things are hard. Because I can deal. What's the old saying that back in the day? I can do hard all by myself. I can do bad all by myself.
Yes.
That was a thing that my grandma was saying. All these things like, I don't need this man here. I can do bad if he ain't in here bringing in some extra money, helping out with then I can do bad all by myself.
That's what Granny was saying.
I know. Shout out to my granny, y'all.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. He said my wife is delirious.
No. I'm saying like, okay, I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I can go through the depression and all. Like, what are you here for? If it's not to help support me, even in my mental battles and everything else.
Yeah.
Right.
I think yesterday you had a really beautiful saying that from the book that you were reading.
Oh, A Return to Love.
A Return to Love. I had the book here, but
it's here.
But I don't know if you have it to the point where you can express it, but
yeah, I can express it off the dome.
Okay, but you use the rows behind you to illustrate.
Yes, so to kind of end us off here, right? There was something I read in this book, A Return to Love, right?
Yes.
And what I read was, I actually have it here.
Marianne Williamson.
Yeah, Marianne Williamson. And I think I brought this book up before on the podcast.
Amazing book.
Okay, here. So the difference between a friendship and love can be illustrated with the image of a long-stemmed rose.
Please.
Right?
Let's grab it.
I always do fresh flowers. Y'all notice the flowers behind me during our episodes. And so I always do fresh flowers. But so the difference between a friendship and a love can be illustrated with the image of a long stem rose. The stem is the friendship. The blossom at the top is the love. Because of our ego, we focus on the love at the top. But all the nourishment that the love needs in order to live, in order to thrive, in order to exist is found in the stem. And the stem is the friendship. Right? So when we think about this, right, and I was saying yesterday, and I'll say it again here, as I was prepping these roses to go into the vase here, I was pulling off the leaves, right, to make it a clean kind of look here, right? And I actually put my hand pretty aggressively on one of them right into a thorn.
Yep.
And it hurt. And I was like, oh my God. And I was bleeding. It wasn't like a bloodbath or anything.
You pricked yourself.
I was bleeding, and I was reminded of what I had just read in the book. And I was like, oh, we have this such a beautiful thing, right? Marriage can be so beautiful.
Yeah.
Marriage can be so enlightening and so expansive and so, breathtaking. And it can also still hurt, right?
Yes.
It can also still hurt if you kind of hold on to it at the wrong spot, if you catch it at the wrong moment, if you're not being careful with how you're handling this delicate thing, you can break it.
Yes.
Right. But besides that, being able to kind of look at this and say, oh, the root for how we get here and get this beautiful blossom is the friendship.
You have to nurture the friendship.
The friendship is the stem. And when yes, exactly. And when you cut the bottom of the stem, you're actually allowing access for nourishment to come through. So how are you nourishing the friendship in your marriage? Would you treat a friend like an enemy? Because if a friend shifted into the enemy seat, you would no longer be friends with them. So why would we ever put our spouse in the seat of the enemy?
Yep.
Right? So when we think about our friends, or excuse me, our spouse being the enemy, maybe a rose can remind you of like the foundation to what we have here is friendship. And the only way our love can grow is if I nourish this stem so that it can blossom and become like, there is no room for there to be a seat of the enemy for your spouse, right?
Right. I think on that note, I would say that was a beautiful explanation. That was a great conclusion to episode 6.
Yeah.
As we say always, loving your spouse, comment, subscribe, check out, share with as many married couples as possible. And until next time, we'll see you in episode 7.
Toodles. See you later.